Aloha! It's my greatest joy to be here again today with you. What I'm noticing out in the world, in relationship, in community, in family, friends, within myself, are we attached to our story? Are we attached to our suffering? Are we attached to our pain? Are we attached to our addictions? Are we attached to our mental blockages, our emotional blockages, our physical blockages? Are we attached to our financial challenges? Are we attached to suffering? Pretty much can come down to that. Are we attached to suffering? I know I was. Seriously, I didn't really know it at the time. Someone pointed out to me, someone close in my life that I've known for the last 7 years, a couple years ago, they said this statement to me: what is the payoff that I'm receiving by being in pain or by having an emotional blockage or emotional challenge? Or what is the payoff that I'm receiving by not being clear-minded or being active in addictions or having financial difficulty or relationship challenge? And honestly, the only answer I could come up with was that the payoff was that I was attached to the suffering. It's like, really doesn't make any sense. But what else could I come up with? I didn't have any reason or desire that I wanted to be living in pain or emotional challenges or financial challenges. I really couldn't come up with anything. So I realized I had an attachment because it was my story. It was my way of being. I got so accustomed to living in pain. I got so accustomed to having difficulty and challenges. I got so used to being stuck. I didn't have the connection. I didn't have the wiring. I didn't have the understanding or the cellular memory of what it meant to be free of pain, to be free of challenges, to be free of burden, to be free of blockages, to be free of obstacles, to be free of all of the difficulty. I don't know why I became attached to that story or why I became, maybe addicted to the suffering. It's a really strong statement to say that you're addicted to suffering when, really, do I want to be addicted to suffering? No, there's nothing I want more than to be in the light. But somehow I got trapped. And, the trap was probably my own karma. It's my own ability to see clearly through the blockages that there exists a life beyond suffering. How do you get out of your attachment to addictions or your attachment to suffering or your attachment to your pain body or your attachment to your story? How do you transform and come into your empowerment and your awakening and your prosperity and your healthy relationships and your healthy body and your balanced emotions and your balanced mental state and your balanced finances? To start, all you need to do is stop perpetuating the suffering. It sounds so simple, but it's really not. And in order to start, all of us, we have to just believe in the possibility. To believe that what we can create and how we can exist could be pain-free. It could be illusion-free. It could be prosperous. It could be abundant. It could be free of chemicals and substances. We have to believe ourselves in the possibility of that freedom and that liberation. And once we believe it, once we own it, we're actually embodying it. We're infusing that understanding in our body. We're making our cellular vibration and our physical vibration a channel and a vehicle and a vessel that says, I agree and I believe and I affirm and I act upon the understanding fact that I can be liberated. I myself can actually liberate myself. I don't need anyone else to do it for me. I don't need to go to some hospital or a treatment center or it's obviously good to have support. I definitely recommend and condone support. I'm not saying that we all need to be breaking our patterns by ourselves, but the fact is that you have the capacity to actually do way more than you're giving yourself credit. Belief is the first step. I believe in the possibility that my life is completely transformable. I believe in the possibility that I have every element available to me to transform. I believe in the possibility that I can exist free of pain, free of suffering, free of illusion, free of chemicals, free of bondage, free of obstacles, free of burden, free of debt. And once we believe that, once we own it, once we embody it in our being, our cellular vibration of our body starts to match that resonant field, and our brain starts to match that resonant field. So believing is the first step. The second step would be making a choice that your participation is no longer going to be about your suffering. Your participation in your life is not going to be focused on your suffering. And in order to do that, we have to stop telling our story. When we tell our story, this happened, that happened, I had this experience, someone did this to me, I have this, I experienced this, we're literally embedding it into our body. We're literally like pounding a hammer into our cells, into our muscles. And the truth is that your body and your cells and your soul and your mind and your heart, they don't want to hear the story. They don't want to hear I'm in pain. They don't want to hear I'm suffering. They don't want to hear I have no hope. They don't want to hear I can't survive. They don't want to hear I'm full of darkness. I have depression. I have anxiety. I have suicidal thoughts. I can't get up, I can't walk, I can't create, I can't manifest, I can't be abundant, I can't be financially free, I can't be liberated. Your body, your soul, your heart, your mind does not want to hear those messages, because when we speak them, when we say them to ourselves, what we're doing is we're lowering the frequency, the vibration. We're lowering the light, we're decreasing the light, we're adding more density. Those words are negative words. They're negative mantras. We're basically speaking negative mantras to ourselves. A mantra is a word that is repeated that in a positive sense, like love, light, harmony, creates a ripple effect of a vibrational frequency and field within our body. So if we're speaking, I hate myself, I'm angry, I want to kill myself, all we're doing is we're lowering the density and the frequency of light within our body, and our body is matching that vibration. We have to stop telling our story. We have to stop perpetuating suffering. And this is actually not even really about us. The reason why we have to do this is we have to show up in the lives of others. That is what this is about. Many of you have children, many of you have husbands, partners, families, moms, dads, aunties, uncles, ohana, just community. It's time for us to get out of ourselves. And I am completely saying that to myself, because many years of my lifetime, for a long, long time, I've been self-absorbed. I have been perpetuating my suffering. And I just didn't know there was a way out. Thankfully, I've had amazing support and amazing breakthrough. I'm now able to show up not only in my life, but in the lives of others, so I can have transformation and healing consistently every day. And I can also show up in people's lives that I love and also support them in transformation and healing on an everyday basis too. So we stop the cycle of telling our story. We believe transformation is possible, and we change our mindsets, we change our thinking, we change our behaviors, we change our attitudes, our belief systems. Our mind, when used appropriately for a positive advancement in our personal life, our soul's journey, and in the lives of other people, is absolutely an asset to us. So yes, we have our ego, and our ego really does not serve us, but when we learn to control the ego, we are actually able to use the mind in a very creative way that becomes a gift to us. Using your mind creatively is important. Our mind doesn't have to be focused on our suffering. Our mind can catalyze us into openings, into awakenings, into possibilities, into creative outlets. So we need to become friends with our mind and pay attention to our thinking, pay attention to our mindsets, pay attention to the belief systems, the stories we're telling ourselves. If we're believing a limited belief system, if we're telling ourselves a negative story, if we're telling others things are not possible, all we're doing is creating contraction and limitation in our life, which is not the divine will. It's the divine will is for you and I to be completely liberated, to be completely empowered, to be completely free. Suffering, of blockages, of anxiety, of ego, of attachments, of belief systems, of negative thought forms, because we need to have freedom of the mind. We need to have our creative powers, our intuitive guidance, our message center, our heart center completely open so that we're able to show up and serve and receive the guidance and receive the messages that the divine has in store for us, so that we actually are in alignment with our soul, that we're actually in alignment with our body, we're in alignment with our mind, we're in alignment with our relationships, we're in alignment with our finances. Because even if you believe that everything is possible, even if you stop telling yourself negative stories, we need to watch, are we still attached to something? Do we still have an attachment to? We need to make sure that we're not contracted in any of our thinking, or even limiting the divine infinite possibilities that exist. So you and I and every human soul on this earth have divine infinite possibilities that exist in your life. You could be crippled right now. I've pretty much been close to that in my life, so I'm not making a comical statement at all. You could be going through a divorce. You could be bankrupt. You could have a life-threatening illness. There's a lot of things that could be going on in your life, and I know there are a lot of things going on in every person's life. So I'm saying this in humility, but the reality is you have the power and the capability and the possibility to overcome it. And I believe it so strongly, and I believe it for you, and I believe it for myself, and for all individuals that want to make this choice and want to make this change in their life. So we need to stop perpetuating our suffering. If we notice that we're addicted to our suffering, all we're doing is actually creating an addiction. You could not have addictions to something physical, but you could have addictions to suffering. You could have an addiction to perpetuating your story, to perpetuating your grief and your sorrow. How many people do we know the first thing that they say is, this happened to me, this is what's going on? God does not want to hear your story. God wants to hear your light. God wants to hear your love. God and every other person you know wants to hear your empowerment. And yes, it's very important that we go through our process. I'm not saying that we need to deny our truth and our process and our experience, and that, just completely pretend it's not existing. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that own your story, own your process. get support, get guidance, heal it, transform it, and walk through the other side. We need to show up on the earth right now. We cannot continue to perpetuate suffering. We have to be strong. I have to be strong. You have to be strong. For our children, for our planet, we have to be strong because there's a lot of testing coming. There's a lot of testing happening right now, and there's even more coming. And I am serious about that. We have to wake ourselves up. I have to continue to wake myself up. I continually, every day, have to be active in my transformation, active in my healing, active in my process of clearing out blockages of negative mindsets, ego, attitudes, beliefs, attachments. I have to continue daily to make sure I'm not perpetuating my suffering, to make sure I'm not perpetuating my story. I have to continue daily to illuminate my life, to illuminate my heart, to illuminate my mind, to illuminate my body. So we believe it's possible. And we remember that we each have a divine mission on this planet. Your divine mission is not my divine mission. My divine mission is not your divine mission. They're completely separate and they're completely individualized. But every living human soul and animal soul and plant soul and every living soul on this earth has a divine mission. Our divine mission is extraordinary, and your soul really wants you to accomplish your divine mission. Your heart wants you to accomplish your divine mission. Your mind even wants you to accomplish your divine mission. Your body wants you to accomplish your divine mission. All of heaven, all of creation, all of Mother Earth, all of your guides, all angels, masters, all holy beings want you to accomplish your divine mission. I want you to accomplish your divine mission. I want myself to accomplish my divine mission. My divine mission is completely scripted for myself. And the reason why is because it has to do with what is most important for my soul to learn in this lifetime. I'm not going to go into a story about all of our lifetimes, but I am going to let you know that you have a soul's purpose, and your soul really wants you to thrive. Your soul wants you to support others and to show up in the lives of others, even if it is just your immediate family. That is showing up. I really love you. I really honor you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful you're in my life. Even if I've never met you, and I will never meet you, I still am grateful that you're in my life, because what this means is that you and I and anyone else on this mission, on this great extravagant mission on planet Earth at this time on Mother Earth, is awakening their heart, is awakening their mind, is awakening their body. They're releasing the suffering of humanity. We have a great task ahead of us, and that task has to do with awakening all of creation, awakening all of our planet, all life form. If you've forgotten why you're here, it's not to sit at a desk in a cubicle and type from 8 to 5 p.m. and to go to a fast food restaurant and to drive a car and get irritated and angry in traffic. If you've forgotten that you have a mission, and that divine mission is to serve others in the most extraordinary, powerful, creative way that's possible for you, that you can't even imagine, because it's even grander than you can imagine. Your mission is so important to everybody's life, to the life of everyone you know. Even if you don't spend any time with people, if you isolate and you retreat, you're still awakening humanity by awakening yourself. You may not believe that you're a creator, a manifester, a dreamer, a healer, a teacher, a guide, a mentor. You may not believe that you have the capacity to do great things in your life. You may not believe that you can overcome all suffering in your lifetime, and that every single aspect of challenge and discourse and stress and trauma and experience that you've had in this lifetime has only been given to you so that you could transform it, so that you could overcome it, so that you could actually tell others how you transformed, so that you could awaken others in the exact same transformation of getting over something so incredibly humongous and serious and difficult and challenging. And even if you don't believe it, I believe it because I know it to be true. This isn't my story right now that I'm telling, so I'm not going to go into the experiences I've had around overcoming blockages and obstacles, but I will tell you with my open heart and my open mind and my open soul and my open body, to the best of my ability in humility, that everything is possible. Your finances can turn around instantly. When you change your belief system, complete transformation. Heaven and all of creation and divine is just waiting for us to say yes, to receive. How open are you to receiving? Are you willing to receive love? I mean, we would think we would be willing to receive love. Are we truly willing to receive love? Are we truly willing to open our heart and allow somebody in? To allow somebody to give us love and to give us blessings and to give us healing and to give us light. Do you remember that you don't have to suffer anymore? That you can free yourself of limitation and blockages and challenges and difficulty and pain and suffering and trauma and burden, simply by enlightening your mind, enlightening your ego, enlightening your body, enlightening your heart, enlightening your soul. Stop telling your story. Believe in yourself. Believe in the possibilities. Believe in the infinite. Believe in the divine that is showing up in every single situation that's surrounding you, trying to remind you of your greatest capacity, your greatest abilities. I honestly don't want to hear your problems. I want to hear your solutions. I want to hear your outcomes. I want to hear your creative potential. I want to hear your ability to dream. I want to hear your desired manifestations. I want to hear the creative, infinite possibilities that you are imagining. I want to hear how you've overcome your inability to walk. I want to hear how you are riding your bicycle around the world. I want to hear how you're making a business with no money, no support, but that you're believing in yourself enough to do it. I would like to hear your heart open. I'd like to hear your heart beating. I'd like to see your mind opening. I'd like for you to hear this message and to open your mind and open your heart to this possibility in your life. I'd like for you to remember that your soul is calling to you at this time, that humanity is calling to you at this time, that the divine, the Tao, the source, the creation is calling to you at this time, that your most important task, besides breathing, which is a very important one, is showing up in your life, showing up in the lives of others, serving others, giving back, not taking, being a believer, being a dreamer. What is your dream? What is your vision? Tell me your vision. Tell me your dream. Tell me your intentions. Tell me your goals. Tell me your outcomes. Tell me your possibilities. Your story, your pain, your ego, your attachment, your mindsets, your limitations, they don't even want to hear it. Free yourself from the darkness. Are you willing to free yourself from illusion? Are you willing to free yourself from pain? I know what pain is. I have lived in pain for almost my entire life, whether it was emotional pain, whether it was mental pain, whether it was physical pain, whether it was addictions. It's been my story. But today it's not. My story today is really bright. It's so beautiful. It's so infinite. I have amazing courage. I have amazing confidence. I have unlimited abundance. I have infinite possibilities.